Thanks for joining us today for ParentHub Live number 6. Today we're going to talk about summer on mission. We are now in full summer mode, so it's hot outside, our kids are out of school, many of us have vacations planned, and sometimes summer can seem like a really long time and like it lasts forever. And seemingly your family has a lot more time on their hands than you are used to having in the fall or in the spring. And so today we're going to discuss some ways that you can utilize this extra time and not let the summer go by without doing anything good for others. By the way, if we haven't had a chance to meet before, my name is Jessica Benninghoff. I'm the Special Needs Ministry Director here at Hope. I am a mom to two teenage boys, I can't even believe that, 13 and 16. Joining me is Carrie White. Carrie, why don't you share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, well, my name is Carrie White, and I get to be the local Hope coordinator here at Hope, and we get to help provide physical, spiritual, and emotional resources for those who are marginalized and under-resourced. I also get to be the wife of Caleb, who is the middle school pastor at the Raleigh campus, and mom to two kids who are 9 and almost 7, which also cannot believe.
Yes, I know. Well, thanks for being here with me today. Our kids are very different ages. I have teenagers and you have younger ones, but as we'll see today, there's ways that we all can be intentional about making sure, regardless of the age of our kids, that we're serving others. So if you're joining us today, whether you're watching live or you're watching the rebroadcast, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the love button, hit that wow face so that we know you're with us. We'd love to know who's listening, and we just want to be sure that our video recording by Kathy is actually going well. But before we get started, we want to ask you guys just a quick question. Go ahead and comment below. What are some ways that your family is already currently serving? I know for many of you, you probably are doing some things already to serve as a family, and we would just love to hear what those ways are.
Yeah, and so at the end of our time today, we're going to have a giveaway. So we will be giving away a $25. Oh, we're giving away a book. We're giving away this book, Sticky Faith. That's a great book. So be sure to comment below. If you comment, you have a chance to win this lovely book that Jessica is holding.
Yeah, thanks. So Sticky Faith, Kathy's going to go ahead and pick the winner at the end, so make sure you comment below. Ways that your family's already serving together. So we have heard from lots of families, then the topic that keeps coming up is where can my family serve together? How can my family serve? Whether you have teenagers or whether you have little ones or preschool ones, you guys are interested in finding out ways that your family can serve together. And before we share some of those ways and ideas that your family can serve together, I think it's important for us to take a few minutes to talk about why we actually serve others. You know, as adults and kids and teenagers, we are just selfish by nature. We tend to focus on our own needs rather than look at the needs of others. And I know it's easy for me as a mom who has some teenage boys to say, absolutely, teenagers are definitely focused on themselves, but all of us, adults, all of us, we just generally have that nature. It's important for all of us to develop this level of compassion in our kids where they see people and they see the needs of people and that they find ways to meet those needs. And really, we can do this by providing opportunities for our kids to teach selflessness and empathy. And really, the best example of this comes from Jesus himself. So.
Yeah, we have a clear model in Jesus. The Bible says that Jesus came not to be served, but to serve. So if we want to live a life that's characterized by the love and the example of Jesus, then we get to make a series of small decisions over and over that begin shaping a family culture of serving others. And not only do we get to then meet the needs of others and they're benefiting from our offering, but we also get to choose to step outside our comfort zone a little bit, and that instills in us and in our kids that getting comfortable being uncomfortable is how we grow, right? And it's so hard. It's almost impossible to serve and not grow, both individually and as a family. And I think it's not so much exactly what you're doing as it is just making this lifestyle of serving others part of who you are as a family.
Absolutely. And I know it doesn't matter the age of your kids. I think we can all identify that we are just super busy. Whether you have teenagers or whether you have little ones, life can just get super busy. And I think in the past, maybe we would all see summer as just a time to kind of slow down. But that doesn't happen all too often. And so if we're not careful, our days and our weeks and our months just get filled with so many other things, leaving little to no room to see the needs of others and to meet those needs and to serve others.
Where we look outside of ourselves on purpose at a specific time. And that might be weekly for your family, that might be monthly for your family, but try and find a time that you can set aside and guard as closely as you would a doctor's appointment or a soccer game. And you say, this is our time to serve others. And it doesn't have to be in a typical way. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be at, you know, serving meals to the homeless, but that's a great idea. But it can be small and it can be creative and it can be unique to your family's time, talent, and resources. But if you aren't as intentional about saying this is our time to serve as you are about the other things in your life that make up your life, it's really difficult to build that culture of serving.
And I know too, you talked a little bit before about like if your family has a normal rhythm of like, hey, every Saturday we hang out on the couch and we just kind of chill together. Maybe that's a good time. Talk a little bit more about like time, talents, and resources and what that looks like.
Yeah, so we all have, you know, we all have time, we all have talents, and we all have some sort of resources. So I think it's actually kind of fun to sit down as a family and come up with what time do we have, like you were just talking about that rhythm, of what talents do we have as a family, and what resources do we have as a family, and then using that as a kind of a filter to figure out ways that you can serve and writing those down. So an example might be with your time. As a family, you can serve another family, maybe in your small group or maybe at your church that you know is the parents just need a date night, right? And so you can serve by having the kids over to your house, and your kids can, you know, come up with activities and snacks and kind of put together that babysitting time for them. And you can do that with your time and some of your talents as well. If you like to paint, my kids love to paint, so you could paint some rocks, you know, just and paint little messages on rocks and hide those around the house of a family member or at a park, so that you can do that with your talents. And then resources, we like to give our kids allowance, and we give it to them in dollars, and $2 of that every week is set aside to giving. And so we say, here's 3 options that are things that we know you care about. Our kids love animals, so you know they love the Outer Banks horses.
With the Y. I swear it's my phone. I've been having trouble with it.
It's okay. It is. I remember exactly where I was at. I got it. Resources.
Yeah, it's not connected at all.
Can you do it from the because your phone's connected to the camera.
Because for some reason my internet, even at home, I'm having trouble. So it's my phone.
Yeah.
I wonder if now we're back.
Like right now. All right, there we're back. Thanks for your patience. We are having some technical difficulties, but we're good. Carrie, you were just talking about, I think you were talking about resources. And giving your kids allowance.
Yeah. So over the summer, they're building this kind of giving fund, and we'll give them 3 options, something that they're excited about and that they love. Let's say they love animals, so, you know, the Outer Banks horses, you know, the wild horses, that's one of the options that we'll give to them. And then at the end of the summer, they get to be part of the process of taking all that giving money that they've saved and giving that to this organization that they care about.
I love that. I think, too, that hits on just the fact of if you don't make giving, serving, but also giving of your resources to others is part of your normal family culture and normal family makeup, then that gets lost. And then you have adults that have a difficult time doing that.
Right,
so I love that idea. I also love the idea of designating just a specific time in your normal family routine to serve others, whether that's weekly or bi-weekly or monthly or whatever that looks like for your family. There's lots of opportunities out there for families to serve together. We know that families want to serve together. That's the number one thing that families are looking for. And here at Hope, we do have plenty of opportunities. So I'm going to share some of those now, just some things that might work for families here at Hope.
Yeah, so we have coming up this summer a big initiative called Project Classroom. We're going to partner with area schools, community schools, and help them be the heroes, help the teachers be the heroes. So one way we're going to do that is we're going to do a school supply drive. So in the month of July, bring in all the school supplies. So one way you can serve as a family is to take your kids and go shop for those school supplies and help them, let them pick it out and put it in the bag and bring the bag in and put the bag in the bin. So let them be part of that whole process that's coming up. We also have a food distribution center at Hope. So all of the food that comes in goes to kind of a food warehouse, and every third Monday of the month in the evening, we have 2 shifts. We have opportunities for families to come and sort the food and organize the food and get that on the shelves, and that's kind of the hub for all of our food ministries at Hope, and it's a great thing to do as a family because kids love to check dates and organize and put things on shelves. It's really fun to watch them get into it. If you have 7th graders or older, you can come serve together at the food pantry, which is open Mondays from 10 to 1 and Wednesdays from 5 to 7. So those are just a few ways specifically at Hope, through local Hope, that you can serve as a family.
Yeah, and I even thought too about bumper crop being, I know they can help hand out bags and they can help with the collection, but also, you leave services at Hope with a bag.
Yes.
And that's an easy way to take that bag, go to the store with your family, and help your kids just be a part of filling that bag up to bring back to church the next weekend. And so if families want more information about any of these opportunities, what's the best place for them to go to for that?
Yeah, you can go, go to the website, go to local Hope. Each one of these bumper crop distribution center, food pantry, each one of those has a spot on the website where you can get more information. You can email Carrie Miranda, CARRIEM @gethope.net, or myself, Carrie W.
Awesome. Well, and also in the comment section after we finish the broadcast, we'll go ahead and post links for the different things. So if your family's interested in any of those things, you can just go in to the comment section and click on that link directly. There's also opportunities for us to serve in our community and to serve outside of our church. And so I know you've got some ideas for that as well. You want to share those?
Yeah, so the first is Brown Bag Ministry, and they're really great with kids and with students. And St. Andrews and Apex has a kind of a local spot where you can go and prep the bags, or you can prep the bags and help hand out the bags in downtown Raleigh, outside of the Oak City Outreach Center. So that's one way. Raleigh Rescue Mission has a host of opportunities on their website. Oak City Cares also has an opportunity where you can go and pass out meals to people experiencing homelessness. And then there's a resource. Carolina Parent has tons of opportunities in and around Triangle to serve as well.
Yeah, that's great. We, my son and I have actually done the Brown Bag Ministry at St. Andrews, and it was super simple and a lot of fun. And kids of all ages can definitely participate in that as well. So again, these are just some options. We'll go ahead and post the links below. Before we finish up, though, I just want to take a few more minutes to address those of you that have little kids, super little ones, even younger than Carrie's kids. There are ways for you to start developing that culture of serving others now before your child starts to grow up. Don't let the fact that your kids are little stop you from starting this process now. What else, other ideas do you have for us?
Yeah, I think especially with littles, it really is more about developing and cultivating that culture of like teaching that other people have needs and that we can help meet them. It's not so much about what you're doing as it is about seeing and loving people. Notice, and they'll pick up on it, and it'll become part of who they are. And you can start small, especially with littles. So sometimes we get these grand ideas, and serving has to look like we're going out and we're doing all these things. But you can start small and start within your own family. Start just how can we serve each other in our family? How can we take our littles and go clean their older sister's room together? And just a surprise serving or something like that. Come up with a list of kind of acts of kindness that you could do during your family serving time. Leave a gift for your mailman, hold the door for someone at the grocery store, put together a gift basket for a neighbor, make a meal together for someone who's sick or just had a baby, have a lemonade stand and donate the money to an organization that you all care about. These are all just small ways that you can develop and cultivate that awareness in your kids of seeing other people and that it's not just about us.
Yeah, I love that, and I think there's so many creative ways. I mean, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
take a bunch of quarters and go to Aldi and stick them in some carts for people, so
Yeah.
that they don't have to
Oh,
worry
so-
about that
Mhm.
when they get there.
Mhm.
If you have an elderly neighbor, you've already mentioned that a little bit, but
Mhm.
what can you do? And I bet you, if you sat down with your kids and kind of had a discussion, like, hey, what are some things that we can do to help those around us?
Oh,
Again, with the goal in mind of having your kids see a need and meet that need, to
Mhm.
develop compassion, and compassion is going to propel them to take action.
Mhm.
That's what all this is about.
Mhm.
We've shared, again, lots of ideas today. We will make sure to post those links down below for you as soon as we finish. Okay, I think it's just about time for our giveaway. Let's go ahead and pick the winner today for, again, the book Sticky Faith. We're going to have Kathy do that, who's been running tech for us.
Matt Kelly.
Matt Kelly.
Matt Kelly.
Yay, Matt, I'll get this book to you. We'll make sure it gets into your hands or in Brooke's hands.
Yeah, whether you are joining us today for the first time or you've watched bi-weekly ParentHub Live in the past, we're really glad that you could join us. Be sure to share today's video with your friends and family who could benefit from our discussion.
Awesome. Just a few announcements that's important for all of you to be aware of, just from family ministry here at Hope. First and foremost, coming up July 13th and 14th, that weekend, is promotion weekend for all areas of family ministry. So if you have a child in Kid City, in our middle school ministry, or in our high school ministry, it's promotion weekend, and that means they are moving up to the next grade or class that they will be in for the 2019-2020 school year. Our special needs ministry has a parents' night out this coming Friday at the Apex campus from 6:30 to 8:30. All siblings are welcome, and you can find more information about that at gethope.net. We'll also post a link below in the comments. Middle school ministry. If you have a rising 6th grader, so a current 5th grader, rising 6th grader, you don't want to miss Best of the Mess. It is a super fun time for parents and for kids, July 19th and 20th. Also this week in MSM, they are celebrating 8th graders, so those 8th grade students that are moving up to be freshmen in high school, they'll be celebrating those students in middle school this weekend, so make sure your current 8th grade students are in attendance. High school ministry. There is a huge game night for all students at the Apex campus on Wednesday, July 10th. This is a highlight event for those rising freshmen. So if you have a current 8th grader that's moving up to high school ministry, this is one of those things that you want to be sure they're connected with, just to start to build some of those relationships. Our high school students are going to high school camp. Registration is full, but if you high school ministry at all campuses are doing restaurant takeover this weekend. Again, it's a great way for your student to get connected outside of weekend services. If you have questions about this, restaurant takeover, or anything else in high school ministry, you can find the contact for your high school pastor on the Hope Student app. There's also lots of other information there as well too. Lastly, our next ParentHub Live will be July 27th. Heather Sullivan, our Kid City Director, is going to lead that, and they're going to have discussion around how to have faith conversations with your kids. So be sure to tune in, be sure to share that event, be sure to share this podcast. And we thank you guys for joining us today. Bye.